Today is a Saturday, January 25, 2025. Trump's executive order halts refugee program, threatens Afghan allies. A recent executive order signed by President Donald Trump has put the fate of thousands of Afghan refugees who assisted the U.S. military at risk, according to advocacy groups. The order, titled Realigning the United States Refugee Admissions Program, suspends the U.S. refugee program for a minimum of 90 days, potentially stranding 2,000 Afghan individuals already approved for resettlement. This delay is unacceptable. These people have waited long enough, said Sean Van Diver, president of Number Afghan Evac, a coalition dedicated to aiding Afghan allies since the end of the war in 2021. They're living in hiding and constant fear. President Trump must honor the promises made to these allies who risked their lives to assist the U.S. Immediate impacts of the suspension. The suspension affects families of approximately 200 U.S. service members, as well as relatives of Afghans already resettled in the U.S. Flights for those already approved have not been cancelled yet, as the administration works on implementing the executive order. However, the looming uncertainty has left many in limbo. One active-duty soldier with the 82nd Airborne Division expressed his devastation. Two of his family members, who fled Taliban retaliation due to his service as a U.S. military interpreter, now face indefinite delays in their resettlement. "She was just crying," the soldier said about his relative's reaction. "It made me cry too. If I were to die while deployed, she might never be able to attend my funeral. That thought is unbearable." Details of the executive order. The order states that admitting refugees would be detrimental to the interests of the United States and suspends the program until it aligns with Trump's foreign policy priorities. The Secretaries of Homeland Security and State are tasked with reviewing the program's viability and submitting a report to Trump every 90 days. The order emphasizes that the suspension aims to protect U.S. resources, ensure safety, and support refugee assimilation. Critics, however, argue the policy undermines America's credibility and leaves loyal allies vulnerable to persecution. Long-term consequences. Advocates warn that even a temporary suspension could create severe hardships for Afghan families, while an indefinite pause could impact tens of thousands. "When you're hiding and terrified, every day feels like an eternity," Van Diver explained. He emphasized that delaying resettlement risks fostering distrust and damaging U.S. national security interests. Since the war's conclusion in August 2021, over 180,000 Afghans have resettled in the U.S. Number Afghan Evac, recognized by the State Department under former Secretary Antony Blinken, has been instrumental in these efforts. Despite political shifts, Van Diver pledged the organization's willingness to collaborate with the Trump administration to fulfill commitments to Afghan allies. Political context. The order has reignited debates over the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan and its aftermath. Critics of President Joe Biden, including Trump's former National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, previously condemned the chaotic evacuation, citing broken promises to Afghan allies. For Van Diver and his coalition, the stakes remain high. "We are creating long-term security risks by abandoning those who trusted us," he said. "Keeping our promises to these allies isn't just a moral obligation, it's a matter of national security." The suspension of the refugee program threatens not only the lives of Afghan allies but also the U.S. global reputation and ability to foster trust with future partners. For the thousands left in limbo, the promise of safety remains uncertain. Thanks for watching and subscribing to the channel.